We've seen 50 years of its classic covers and marveled at what's inside. Join us as Life magazine brings to life its most magic moment. A birthday celebration you'll never forget. Life at 50. Saturday, November 15th on ABC.
Good evening. Eyewitness News at 10 is coming up next. And tonight, Mayor Washington and Ed Verdoliak trade insults again. This time, they call each other bums.
Fair game's over.
And 4 people claim they're entitled to nearly $3 million in lottery prize money, but not one of them can produce the winning ticket.
Also coming up, Roger Ebert reviews a made-in-Chicago movie, Touch and Go, and we'll preview the new Bruce Springsteen album that's due in the record stores tomorrow. Also, Mike Tomczak and the Bears overwhelm the Buccaneers in their home port. Those stories and more coming up next on Eyewitness News.
This is Channel 7 Eyewitness News with Mike Jackson and Diane Burns, Andy Avalos weather, Jim Rose on sports, and the Eyewitness News team. This is Eyewitness News.
Good evening. Leaders of the Congress tonight are accusing President Reagan of running foreign policy from the White House, keeping them in the dark about what they believe was a deal to trade military hardware for American hostages. The debate begins even as hostage David Jacobson returned home to California, hugging friends and family after 17 months in captivity. Senate Democratic leader Robert Byrd called for an investigation into charges that the president traded arms for Jacobson's freedom and others.
What we're seeing here is a situation in which there will be this arms versus hostages versus arms versus hostages, and it guarantees the continuance of hostage taking. I think it's a major blunder on the part of the administration if the facts are as I've been able to detect them in the press.
White House Chief of Staff Donald Regan promised a full explanation of what's been going on, but only after the last hostage is released.
As quickly as we can, we'll tell you the whole thing. I'll assure you we're not breaking any laws, we're not doing anything illegal or immoral.
Aides to Secretary of State George Shultz say it is pure speculation he will quit, speculation that he is angry because he was kept in the dark about the president's plan. Criticism of the president's reported actions is coming from both Democrats and Republicans. Diane?
Well, Mike, here in Chicago, it was the Democrats fighting among themselves again, as Mayor Washington and Alderman Ed Verdoliak fired volleys at each other. It was not face-to-face, but as Tim Ryan reports, the distance between them didn't diminish their dislike for one another.
Washington was on the south side at a Baptist church, and Verdoliak was in equally friendly territory, in a north side high-rise where people are upset about the city's property tax increase. This was not the angry, shouting Verdoliak of the old council wars days. This was the calm, friendly Verdoliak, but a Verdoliak who still has few nice things to say about the mayor.
With this particular mayor, everybody knows where I stand. I feel that he doesn't have a clue about what the job of being mayor is about. He doesn't reach out to bring everybody in the circle of government or the circle of society, and that as a mayor, he's been a failure and an abomination for 3.5 years.
Across town, Washington was comparing himself to former heavyweight champ Joe Louis.
Almost every day, some newspaper reporter was coming up with another white hope. And Joe was knocking off a bum a month.
Mayor Washington already has his forces at work collecting signatures for a re-election bid, and there is a lot of talk about who will run against him.
The search for creditable opponents in a political world is justifiable and good, and we welcome it. The motivation for the search disturbs me in this case. We won't be pulled down to the level on which it's been functioning.
But Verdoliak countered it has nothing to do with race.
I think that I probably know personally 25 to 30 outstanding and bright and able black administrators and executives in this city that would make great mayors. But a bum is a bum.
Mayor Washington's plans for 1987 are a bit uncertain. It's not yet known whether he will run as a Democrat or simply bypass a Democratic primary fight and run as an independent. Alderman Verdoliak's plans are equally uncertain. What is clear right now is that the smoke has barely cleared from last week's elections, and already there's a brand new political season underway in Chicago. Tim Ryan, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Crane Chicago Business reports tonight that the U.S. Postal Service is investigating the Illinois Commerce and Community Affairs Department tonight for an alleged payroll and contract padding scam that may involve mail fraud. The state police are also investigating charges of misconduct that center on the agency's former director and a worker in the department that handles the budget. That worker is reportedly accused of accepting unauthorized pay amounting to $25,000 that was tied to a state tourism promotion contract.
A Chicago police officer remains hospitalized tonight after he and his partner shot it out with a suspected rapist on the south side yesterday. The rape victim managed to escape and call police. Lieutenant Ronald Siskowski and Officer Brandon Hawkins responded and found 20-year-old Richard Bond asleep. Bond drew a pistol and was killed in the ensuing shootout. Both officers were wounded and hospitalized. Today, one of them, Lieutenant Siskowski, was released.
The man had brutalized a woman for over 2 hours. We knew he was in the apartment with a gun. I felt that if he wasn't taken immediately, he would do more harm to other people in the neighborhood.
Siskowski's partner, Brandon Hawkins, underwent surgery, but he is reported in good condition tonight.
4 lottery players are claiming they've won a $2.9 million jackpot that's gone unclaimed for a year. But lottery officials say none of them can prove he or she is the missing millionaire. The story began at a Southside grocery store where somebody bought the winning lotto ticket exactly 1 year ago tonight. But no one claimed the prize money until this weekend. Now, those who want the jackpot include an unemployed Southside mom who says her winning ticket was destroyed in a fire. Now, they also include a Kansas City man who just found out that his winning ticket was simply a receipt kept by the lottery ticket seller.
We certainly had hoped that someone would have come forward. That's part of the fun of the lottery, people winning, and lots of people win, and we had certainly hoped that someone had come forward with the winning ticket.
Lottery officials have extended the deadline for producing the winning ticket until 11 o'clock tonight. State police will check out all claims, but it's most likely the winning jackpot will go into the state's general education fund. Mike?
An unemployed Chicago mother is hoping tonight that it still pays to be honest. These checks, worth more than $8 million, will spend one more night in Mona Miller's custody because tomorrow she returns them to their owner. Miller found the checks last Friday near this loop intersection after spending almost her last dollar on school clothes for her children.
And what do you hope comes out of this?
A finder's fee. Okay, quite a few people has been telling me about a percentage of a finder's fee. So hopefully I'll get a little something, you know, yeah.
Did you?
1%.
An officer of the Marmon Group, the company that wrote the checks, says no one at the company was even aware the checks were lost. He did promise a reward, but he did not say how much. Diane.
Well, next up, Chicago radio stations can't keep up with the demand from the boss's fans to hear his new albums. And later, a juvenile delinquent sparks a romance. The new Michael Keaton comedy, Touch and Go.
He tried to mug you.
Yeah!
After a self-imposed quiet spell since the mega success of Born in the USA, the boss is back, and with a new album that's already generated, well, record revenue. And it doesn't officially go on sale until tomorrow. The long-awaited Springsteen and the E Street Band Live features songs like Out on the Streets, Thunder Road, Fire, and even the Edwin Starr classic, War. The 5-album set is a retrospective of 10 years of Springsteen's music and was debuted over the radio this weekend.
I was born in the USA. Born in the USA.
The album chronicles his epic live concerts. With 40 songs, the album runs 3.5 hours, with some commentary by the boss. It has his fans clamoring like they do for concert tickets. More than 1.5 million fans have put down deposits at record stores like this one nationwide to reserve a copy of the most eagerly awaited album in history. This one even tops the Beatles. Springsteen has up to now refused to even record a live album. That has spawned a booming industry in bootleg tapes and albums that has sold for up to $250. Now sales of his authentic version are expected to top the 11 million mark set by the popular Born in the USA. Columbia Records has printed 750,000 each of the record sets, compact discs, and cassettes. The records and cassettes will cost about $24, the discs about $40. Mike?
Coming up next tonight, Andy Avalos with a 4-letter forecast, snow. And a bit later, a look at Doug Flutie's NFL debut as the Bears beat up the Buccaneers.
Anderson spun around and looked behind him.
Andy Avalos to tell us now about tomorrow morning's rush hour, but it sounds like the real fun begins when it's time to go home. Isn't that cute?
Doesn't that give you a hint about the weather for the next couple of days? What do you think that means? They say a picture's worth 1,000 words?
Something about cold.
Something about cold. Very good, Diane. You're so bright. Not only that, we have snow, as Mike mentioned, that 4-letter word in the forecast. So cold weather and snow over the next couple of days. After a sunny and cold day today, we have a dark and cold night tonight. Here's the satellite picture to show you what's going on. Lots of clear skies here, lots of cold temperatures, but there are some clouds back to the west of us. Those clouds into the plains, and they are moving towards the east, so they are headed for Chicago, and they'll be here sometime tomorrow morning. Temperatures are very cold at this hour throughout most of the Midwest. Readings in the single digits and teens back to the northwest of us. To the southeast, the warm air, 30s and 40s. For us, primarily in the 20s. Here's a closer look at home right now. O'Hare is currently down to 27 already, Midway 29. The lakefront, the warm spot, if you can call it that, at 37. Winds northwest at 6, barometer rising, and humidity currently at 66%. High temperature today, very low at that, 38 for today's high, 14 off the average high for this day, which is 52. The low thus far is 27 and falling fast, already below the normal and going quite a bit lower before the night is over with. National satellite picture, quite a few areas of clear skies tonight, a few areas of patchy clouds as another system gets organized into the Rockies. That'll be our light snow producer come tomorrow night and Tuesday morning. The big winter storm producing the winter-like conditions and blizzard conditions into the northern plains, now departing to the northeast, but behind it, a large push of cold Arctic air will be the dominant weather feature for us over the next several days. Here's that little storm system right now. You can see there is some light snow already starting to break out into portions of the Rockies. This is moving to the east and on a line for Chicago. Tomorrow's forecast map will start the day with some sunshine and the clouds will increase. It'll be cold and the snow will be here late tomorrow night. And as you start the day tomorrow morning, either way you look at it, sunny in the morning or cloudy in the evening, it's going to be a cold day. Here's the detailed forecast starting with our conditions for tonight. Clear and cold, down to 20 degrees in the outlying areas tonight and 30 at the lakefront. Tomorrow morning, we'll start the day with some sunshine, then the clouds will increase throughout the day. It will be cold, only 38 for tomorrow's high. Tomorrow night, cloudy and cold, the light snow will develop a little bit after rush hour, 25 for the overnight low, and then Tuesday morning, the snow will end. It'll turn partly sunny, still quite cold with only a high of 32 degrees. So we're in for some cold weather this entire week. In fact, I don't think we'll make it out of the deep fridge or freeze and get above 40 degrees.
I could have said food.
You could have. I'd have really been in trouble then.
Thanks, Andy. Well, next up, a young wise guy serves up trouble for Michael Keaton in a made-in-Chicago movie called Touch and Go. Roger Ebert will have a review next.
Oh, my God. On the next True Confessions, June and Ann Lockhart star in a roaring 20s love triangle.
Oh, my, yes. Monday at 3 on Channel 7.
Touch and Go tells the story of a hockey player who finds romance after a little boy tries to mug him. The plot may sound silly, but Roger Ebert says it's good.
Touch and Go is kind of a sleeper, a movie that was made more than 2 years ago right here in Chicago, but is only now coming out into the theaters, and I don't know why they were sitting on this film. I think it's very entertaining. It stars Michael Keaton as a Chicago professional hockey player who runs into a little kid who's part of a gang that tries to mug him, and in this scene, he tells the boy's mother what happened.
So, what did he do?
He tried to mug me.
He tried to mug you?
Yeah.
Sir, he's 4 feet tall.
Almost despite himself, Michael Keaton takes a liking for that kid and wants to try to give him some help. Listen to the great dialogue in this scene where they talk to each other in an all-night diner.
Oh, you're real tough. Oh, you're real tough. I'll tell you about tough, man. You know, when I was about your age, right? I'm in the gang on the south side of the Falcons,
hey,
right?
What are you telling me for? I look like Phil Donahue?
This is hopeless.
The kid's mother is played by Maria Conchita Alonso, who was so good in Moscow on the Hudson. In this movie, even though she doesn't know who this hockey player is, eventually she finds that she's fallen in love with him.
Dee?
Dee, you don't know anything about hockey.
Okay, great. My turn, okay? Hey, you're the type who thinks that because he's got one thing under control, he's got everything under control. But it is only because, B, you put it all into hockey, so you forget how to deal with the rest of it. See, when you ain't got hockey no more, which won't take long because, you know, jocks get old faster than the rest of us, then you're going to have to deal with it, but you wouldn't know how.
Touch and Go was just fresh enough and just original enough and just offbeat enough that maybe they figured it wasn't commercial. I don't know why. Everybody in this movie is lovable, what happens is funny, and Michael Keaton, who is sometimes one of my favorite actors and sometimes not, gives one of his best performances in this movie. I give it 3 stars, and I'm Roger Ebert.
Next up, quarterback Mike Tomczak leads the Bears to a big win over Tampa Bay. Jim Rose will have highlights and all the day's sports.
Touchdown, Chicago!
Well, Jim, all that my sister-in-law Jan wanted for her birthday, besides a Bears victory, was to see somebody from Ohio State have a great game.
Well, and she got her wish. Did she wear her colors?
That's
the Ohio
right.
State colors?
Crimson and gray.
Well, then we'll have to tell Tomczak about that, so she'll do it again next week if he starts. Mike Tomczak gets a good grade for his efforts in today's 23-3 Bears win at Tampa Bay. He was 11 of 24, 1 touchdown, and 265 yards passing. But it was the running of the NFL's greatest rusher that will make this game stick in my mind. Walter Payton carried the ball 20 times for 130 yards. He also caught 3 passes for another 69 yards. Total offense, 208 yards, and his 77th 100-plus rushing game. No, he did not sell programs in the stands. All this on a dislocated toe. Now, the Bears came out smoking. Tomczak came out firing. He hits Walter here, and Sweetness turns it into a 57-yard game. All this, folks, on a sore foot. Walter has a remarkable ability to ignore what many of us can't, and that's pain. Now, with the Super Bowl champs ahead 7-zip, Tomczak fires a 37-yard touchdown strike to Willie Gault. And fast Willie takes it into the end zone. He caught 4 balls for 116 yards. With the Bears comfortably ahead 23-3, Coach Ditka decided to see what Doug Flutie could do. He tries to complete his first pass for a touchdown on 3rd and 5, but the ball sails a little wide of Emory Moorhead. Still, the story, according to the coach, was number 34, Walter Payton.
Walter, he's something else. I mean, you're talking about one guy out of probably, I want to get into numbers, but you're talking about one unusual guy that would play with the kind of toe he had a week ago and then accumulate over 200 yards for our offense.
You feel that this will end up putting you in a no-pressure situation?
Exactly. He doesn't want to throw me into the fire, and he wants me to come along slowly at my own pace and just come along, and progress. And, it was a very comfortable situation I went out in under today.
Now, elsewhere in the NFL today, at Dallas, at Texas Stadium, the Los Angeles Raiders against the Cowboys. Watch this. Herschel Walker fumbling on the goal line. The Raiders recover. That is a rare occurrence. But later, his backfield mate, Tony Dorsett, makes up for it, bursts right up the slot, 11 yards, touchdown. It's a 10-3 Dallas lead. Meanwhile, Steve Perler says, hey, you got to stop meeting like this. Too many phones on the sidelines, huh? Well, 4th quarter, and the Raiders down 13-10. 3rd and 13, and Jim Plunkett, with the luck of the Raiders, gets the ball to Todd Christensen after it was hit by Dallas's Bill Bates. Then Plunkett goes long for Dokey Williams. He is covered by 3 Cowboys, but he still comes up with the catch. It's got to be the catch of the day. And the Raiders win this one 17-13 at Texas Stadium in Dallas today. Now around the rest of the league, Houston and the Bengals hook up. Kenny Anderson intercepted by Jeff Donaldson. He pitches it to Steve Brown. Steve says, hey, it's a touchdown, even before he gets into the end zone. Rookie Ray Wallace scored twice today for the Oilers. They had a big lead, 29-7, before the Cincinnati Bengals put together a rally. However, Houston wins 32-28. In New Orleans, the Rams proved once again to be totally inept on offense. Steve Dills fumbles. New Orleans recovers. That led to a Morton Anderson field goal. In fact, he had 2 of them today. And then Dills is intercepted again. This time, Dave Waymer, the ex-Notre Dame star, comes up with it for the Saints. They beat the Rams 6-0. Suddenly, New Orleans is 5-5, and the folks in the Crescent City are talking maybe playoffs. Over to Kansas City, only the Chiefs had a good day, and that was it. Gail Gilbert, quarterbacking the Seattle Seahawks, gets sacked by Bill Moss. Bill Kinney had a good day, but the photographer gets faked out on this one. Ends up in the hands of Carlos Carson for a touchdown of 25 yards, 24-0 Kansas City there. The Seahawks, who started out with high expectations this year, fumble away their playoff hopes. They fall to 5-5, and the Chiefs are now 7-3. And in Denver at Mile High Stadium, the Broncos were not looking too good. Punter Chris Norman can't find the snap or the ball on the snap there from the center. And with the San Diego Chargers ahead 9-3, John Elway tries a pass to the end zone. It is intercepted. And the Chargers beat Denver by the count of 9-3. Denver was rocking and rolling until today. Elsewhere around the league, Minnesota over Detroit. Indianapolis lost to New England. And the Jets beat Atlanta. You'll see highlights of that game coming up on Sports Final with Walter Payton and Mike Adamle. Elsewhere around football today, well, the New York Giants over Philadelphia, San Francisco humbled Atlanta, Washington beat Green Bay, Pittsburgh lost to Buffalo, and tomorrow night, Cleveland and Miami. Well, because of snowstorms in Winnipeg, the St. Louis Blues arrived late to town tonight, so the game started a half hour late. Doug Gilmour steals the puck and breaks in on Murray Bannerman, a beautiful move. St. Louis ahead 1-0. Now the Hawks come right back. Wayne Presley with a sweet move of his own. He handles the puck past Tim Bothwell, trickles it past Rick Wamsley. However, this game is midway through the third period, and it is a 4-4 game, the Hawks and the St. Louis Blues at Chicago Stadium. That's our look at sports.
Thank you, Jim. And that's Eyewitness News. Thank you for joining us. Have a great week.
Good night.
Good night.
A Chicagoans' chance of a lifetime. Next week at 3:30.